Welcome to Stockholm, Sweden, and welcome to the IBMC community. You might think the mainframe is a little bit scary, a little bit strange, different. Well, I agree. And where it's different, where it doesn't need to be, we should work to change that. However, the mainframe is unique, and being unique implies being different. The mainframe is the most securable, most performant, the most scalable, the most reliable platform there is. And we should be damn proud of that. It's because of the engineering for sure, but it's also because of people. You. And if you need us, reach out, because we've got you. All you need is to be curious and to really deeply care about your customers. And everything will work out, I promise. It's always this kind of weather in Sweden.
One of the things when you go and start work on a mainframe is that it is like nothing you've seen before. And the first thing you're going to want to do, at least I remember I did when I went in and started, was I went up to everyone in lots of different teams. And I said to them, what's one thing I should know? Give me, what should I know? And in the company I started in, you went into the operations team first so that you learn all the aspects of the business. And there's an expression that everyone's going to hear: right workload, right platform, which means running your workload on the most efficient system, whether it's mainframe or off mainframe. And for me, it's asking the right question at the right time was a fundamental that I think I've learned. And the advice that I remember being given when I first started was, before you take any action, double check that that action is correct, especially as you're learning, because it can take 6 months to a year to get really comfortable with taking actions on the mainframe. And therefore, always check at the start for the first 3 months, 3 to 6 months, double check in your head. And after 6 months, only then can you start actually taking actions confidently. But even then, the advice was, stop, check before taking an action. So that was great advice I got given. And the other advice I would say is, sometimes it can be really busy. It's a great opportunity to learn, but knowing the right time to ask your questions. If someone's really busy, don't ask them straight away. Make a note of what you want to know and come back and ask. So they're the sort of things that I would be looking at. What advice would you give someone who's starting as a career in the mainframe? What's some advice from maybe Power Mainframe or COS, whichever you prefer? What would be your advice for someone starting out? Because we just don't get that opportunity to go and sit with someone at lunch anymore.
Well, I'm inspired by a checkers champion that I heard speak one time, and they asked him to show some variations and give some advice. And he said, no, he said, the only advice I have is you have to love the game. The mainframe environment's a treasure trove for the computer engineer, the computer scientist, and the computer nerd. It's like those drinks where they pour different colored liquors in layers. The mainframe environment is composed of layers of everything that ever happened in computing and everything that is happening in computing right up to and including AI. And these different layers are distinctly visible. You're more likely to encounter assembly code on the mainframe than in personal computing. It's like going from designing family houses to designing skyscrapers. This skyscraper architecture of the mainframe persists because transactional systems are the beating heart of world commerce. And no one has yet established a competing architecture for transactional systems that surpasses that of the mainframe. And more profoundly, if you think of yourself as a computer scientist, the mainframe environment showcases many alternate strategies that are valid, despite their not matching the expectations of the PC user. If you are deeply intellectually and artistically engaged in computing, you can enhance your understanding by answering the very questions that puzzle newcomers.
Hmm.
Why is mainframe computing record-based instead of stream-based? Why does it use terminal screen transmission instead of real-time streaming of keystrokes? Why do EBCDIC and double byte character sets exist? Why are there so many layers to mainframe operating system architecture, Prism, the hypervisor, logical partitioning, and so on? How did virtual machine architecture originate with IBM mainframes, and how does it work today? How is Unix integrated with the base operating system? And the one that really struck me when I came into mainframes was, what does code look like when it's 60 years old and as polished and debugged as it ever will be? For example, the macro libraries that underlie all mainframe computing. What if your own code lasts that long? So my advice is explore the mainframe, enjoy the mainframe, and savor the mainframe. Whatever path your career takes, what you learn here will be with you throughout.
So a minute and a half, that's going to be hard. But also don't know if I'd tell myself anything ahead of time. I'm telling you about what I'm glad I learned once I got started, and that was about low-level stuff. You've probably heard of assembly language. Well, it's not hard. It's just deep. I love assembly language. It's the first language I learned when I finally got my feet on the ground at age, what was it? I don't know, 20, 21 maybe. I'd spent years looking for a way to make a living without having to work, and actually fell into this wonderful career that I love, and it's practically the same thing. Not quite, but it's fun. And so, yeah, assembly language is great. It's like learning how a car works. This is a carburetor. This is a fuel line. This is a brake line. These are brake shoes. These are spark plugs. You learn how everything works at the lowest level. And then when anything goes wrong, you're not stuck on the road somewhere waiting for AAA here in the US to show up and bail you out. You know how to get out, use your toolkit that you got in the trunk or the boot, and fix it yourself. You know what's wrong. You don't need to pay an expert to come and take care of it for you. You can do it yourself. So at least you know when somebody's BSing you about what's wrong. You know, you will have already figured it out if you know mainframes at that level. And I'm so grateful that I learned that early on because it's made all the difference in my career. It's made it very enjoyable. Um, I have fun every day, and I'm learning stuff still. That's another thing to do too. Is to if you get tired of learning stuff, then you're in the wrong career because there's plenty to learn every day and stuff you can use, make your code better. I don't have a timer here, but I think I'm about near the end. That's it. Thank you, Andy, for getting these going. We need stuff like this. I'm not a personality. I put some props on just to have a better effect. But great initiative. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing some more from others.